standard.
All right, let's see what happens here. Our final round of Swiss. Take it away. I'm sending it to the booth. 2 spots left in our top 8.
Thank you so much, Maria. Indeed, it is big stress time here for not us. Well, I mean, I think we get more stressed than the players, actually.
The edge of my seat is in trouble. I'm always on it for the last round.
Haley Lloyd alongside Corey Baumeister here to see if we can get Yuchen a win and potentially a top 8 spot for William Araujo. Things look a lot better for him in this matchup. So if he wins, he is good to go. But Yuchen, you know, it's fingers crossed and hope for the best amongst the rest of our playouts here, the rest of our matches at the top tables.
And Yuchen does have 65% tiebreakers, 3% up on the person below him, so it does look good.
It does look good,
This is just a clean win in it, but it's not guaranteed for sure from Yuchen.
Yeah, we don't want to say anything too definitive here.
Yeah,
anything can happen in a game of Magic.
Yeah, tiebreakers can get wild towards those last rounds.
Let's kick things off here. Yuchen Liu with Heartfire Hero hitting the board here. Follow-up play in hand of Manifold Mouse. Also has the Paw Patch Recruits on the other side of things. We've got a Heartfire Hero here as well.
Yep, and pretty solid hands from both players. A little too many lands there from Yuchen, but being able to top deck. Oh, Harry had one of the Manifold Mouse, but top decking another one to be able to offspring this Paw Patch Recruit next turn, and then offspring Manifold Mouth the turn after, and you got some mice shenanigans.
Yeah, that's a worded problem. I don't want to call it Exterminator. At least if you are William Araujo. On his side of things, though, he's got a bit of a think here. Innkeeper's Talent or Manifold Mouse. Which way do you go?
Yep, it's always pretty close here. Manifold Mouth just has power, and otherwise it kind of does the same thing here, but this is kind of the bread and butter Gruul play of being able to have the hero into something that puts a counter on it and either gives it double strike or, you know, an additional counter with the Innkeeper's
I
Talent.
would call this the perfect mirror, except William's got the foil version of the deck, meanwhile. Does not.
That's fair, that's fair. Big difference for sure.
Absolutely. If they're shinier, they play better.
I think you're right, yeah. Yeah, and got to be really feeling for Yuchen here, you know. I mean, being put in that spot where you get to 11 wins really early on and you have so many winning and you're like, well, it doesn't even cross your mind that you're going to lose 4 in a row. But now you're at that last possible scenario to be able to get the job done.
It's such a rough spot to get in, you know, because you can't help but get into your own head, right?
Yeah.
So Yuchen just has to do his best here to stay focused on the match. It's a mirror. We haven't actually seen that many, at least on camera.
Yeah.
What's the most important thing besides, you know, killing your opponent first?
It's just definitely figuring out, okay, can I lose on the crackback? Or, you know, is there like no way that I can lose? So knowing when to overcommit to the battlefield versus when to hold back. We kind of saw that last round with Yuchen up against Lucas Dukow. And it's that, you know, turns 2 and 3 are just very, very important to be able to really set the pace for the rest of the game. So,
well, as things stand, Yuchen has more life, has more critters, and William is going to have a big think about this turn. He's got plenty of action in hand, a Witchstalker's Frenzy as well to deal with one of these creatures on the other side.
Yeah, and what it's really going to come down to here is if Yuchen is able to top deck a meaningful thing, you know, Monstrous Rage would almost always be the most important thing, maybe, you know, questing Druid into some extra spells. Then you got to put huge advantage to Yuchen as he was on the play and has a very wide battlefield here. And then from William's side, this is that really crucial turn 3 that I was talking about. And the one nice thing that William has is he can go like Innkeeper's Talent and then leave up 1 mana to have that Witchstalker's Frenzy.
Yeah.
There's almost assuredly 4 creatures coming at him, or at least 3 to be able to cast that for 1. So that's where my brain would go immediately, but we'll leave William to do the math here and we'll see what he decides.
Let him do a big think, deciding which lands he wants to tap.
Yeah, definitely want to tap the land that doesn't produce mana for your spells.
Innkeeper's Talent hits the board.
Yeah,
now it's just a question of who gets the counter.
Yeah, I think I like the play of just put the counter on Heartfire and just double strike, say, okay, Yuchen, if you want to chump block, that's fine with me. Otherwise, take 8, and then William is able to represent an lethal attack next turn. And if Yuchen is chump blocking, you're always fine with that on the other side of Gruul.
Yeah. 2 Heartfire heroes available for Yuchen. So does one get thrown under the Heartfire hero bus here?
Yeah, and the one thing Yuchen knows for a fact is, well, he cannot die right now. Monstrous Rage would boost this up to 7 power double strike, only dealing 14 only.
That's a lot of power for a small mouse.
So Yuchen knows that no matter what, he's going to be able to untap next turn. So now, where does that put him type thing?
It's a hell of a lot of math in what I think most people would say, oh, it's just an aggro deck. There's a lot of math problems in this aggro deck, let me tell you.
The mirror match is actually very complex. You can't really make any mistake, and sometimes you're making, you know, a decision, and you're like hoping it's working out, and you might make the correct play, but they had the other thing, and you still end up losing. So it's not always about, you know, just making the absolute correct play with what you see. Sometimes they just have the other thing, and you're still in trouble.
So Screaming Nemesis, yeah.
Right.
Okay, so another hasty threat. I think we're good to just turn things sideways and win.
So Heartfire Hero can get double strike and trample, goes up to essentially 8 power.
Target, both targets. Double strike and trample. Sure.
Okay. So has the one way to kill one creature, can block another one. I guess the best thing you can block is the Paw Patch.
That gives a counter to something.
Yeah, then you can kill the Heartfire Hero, and then you take 4. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm still counting 9, plus the Carplusion Force is 10. So I think the best William can do is go to -2 off my quick math.
Yeah, no, that's going to be far too much there, the hasty threat
Yeah.
off the top there. And that's how quick these Gruul matchups can go. But even that was, you know, pretty slow with all the thinks and the calculations going on there.
And the pretty wild thing there with, you know, my math going to -2 there, with Screaming Nemesis on the top, if that wasn't there, it looks like William could have survived at 1.
Yeah.
So Yuchen needed to draw something there.
Yeah, and finding the tiny Screaming Nemesis.
Okay, no 1 drop from William. That's a big deal.
Yeah. Oh, 2 Questing Druids in hand.
Okay.
So if this game somehow magically goes long, that'll come in handy. But let's see where this game goes. First and foremost, as Emberheart Challenger hits the board and hits Yuchen for 2.
I bet that's a change that Yuchen does in the mirror match here versus, let's say, Lucas last round. You know, with the Leyline version being much more aggressive, I bet we didn't see as many Seek the Beasts in the deck afterwards. But in this matchup, it's a little more grindy with Innkeeper's Talent and slow stuff like that.
Some green would be nice. No forests. Ooh. No forests.
Yeah, that is not great. So the choice is Emberheart Challenger or just Seek the Beast.
Yeah, I mean, just start jamming.
Yeah.
Tap the top of the deck, hope for a forest. Otherwise, end step Seek the Beast.
Yeah, and that's the thing. If you know the top of your deck is a forest and a red card, you're like, great, Seek the Beast would be better. But, you know, if you don't have faith in the top of the deck, just play the Emberheart Challenger and go from there.
Manifold Mouse hits the board here. It's going to target Trigger Exile. Ooh, nice.
Huge flip.
Torch the tower, so that Emberheart Challenger is going die-die.
Incredible flip there. William didn't have another play besides a Monstrous Rage if he wanted to go down that route. So that was an incredible flip there. It's a green source off the top. Just a tap one.
Oh, nice. Don't do that, Corey. Don't give me
There
hope.
you go, yep. So it did have the option to go
Emberheart Challenger.
Emberheart Challenger there, but deciding to try to find some removal and just Yuchen recognizing I am firmly in the defensive stance here.
And that's not where you want to be with this deck. But it can defend decently, but not with the amount of tricks that this deck has to offer.
Yep.
So another Heartfire Hero in exile, courtesy of Emberheart Challenger. And off we go to combat.
And double Monstrous Rage available.
Jeez. Whoop, 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 whoop. That's what it sounds like when a mouse gets Monstrous Rage.
Okay, okay. And this was just well and truly a chump block from Yuchen.
Yeah.
So that chump block is not great now. And that's just it straight away.
Okay, quick games of Magic here in our final round of Standard. This is the final round of our Swiss portion.
Yep.
And one of these players is going to make their way into the top 8.
This is a game of Magic for the top 8 of the Pro Tour, a guaranteed spot at the World Championship later on, and, you know, enough qualifications when you make the top 8 that you're going to be around on the Pro Tour for quite a while. So got to be the biggest game of both of these players' lives for sure.
Oh, 100%. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, this is Yuchen's first Pro Tour.
Yeah.
Jeez. So many debutants absolutely making the most of this opportunity here this weekend, and you love to see it. So congratulations to everyone who's done such an excellent job this weekend.
Yep. And I will say, Yuchen has impressed me pretty much this whole weekend, but he's even more impressed me in these kind of troubling times of, you know, hey, losing a couple. He's playing the same as when he was playing that round when he was 11-1, you know.
He doesn't look flustered at all.
Very cool, calm, and collected.
Screaming Nemesis in there for 3. Hired Claw on the side here for William Araujo. William's down to 13, so this match could be over pretty darn quickly.
And Yuchen's hand is still great. You know, the Manifold Mouse Heartfire Hero to be able to just get that boosted up and win the game over the course of 2 turns, or this Monstrous Rage to go over the top, and a missed land drop from William.
Ooh, that's bad news.
Yeah, and no real way to interact besides one Burst Lightning. Oh, this is all the momentum to Yuchen.
Boy. Oh, yeah, absolutely. No brakes, all gas. Here comes the cavalry.
And this is really saying, I'm not going to win this turn, but I'm setting it up for next turn to be able to give that Heartfire Hero double strike and then Monstrous Rage it to give it the trample and be able to win the game. But that Burst Lightning will interact with this, and maybe should have interacted already, to be honest.
Yeah.
Burst Lightning on the Manifold Mouse before it got to combat.
Triggered, yeah.
You know, it probably would have been, I would have been leaning on doing.
Tense moments here for Yuchen Liu, who has missed a couple times now on the win and ins, so desperately wants to get the win here.
Yeah, and all this is just, you know, when you're this far ahead, you slow down. You know, some players speed up, and those are how you get those sloppy mistakes.
Don't want that.
Exactly. For a game with this much stake, this Screaming Nemesis, Yuchen's just like, what card can happen? Okay, so just... Wow.
Wow, okay. So takes the 3 anyway from the Screaming Nemesis dying.
Interesting. Needs a removal spell for one of these mice, or it is... could be well and truly over.
Well, there's the land. Monstrous Rage in hand for Yuchen, a decently sized creature in Sentinel, the Nameless City, but I don't think that's going to get it done here.
Yeah, Screaming Nemesis on defense, it looks like the best option William has, and I think Yuchen can beat that.
Yeah. Double strike Heartfire Hero with a Monstrous Rage. I mean, what more do you want?
Yep. Okay, so the double strike puts that up to 3 power. Monstrous Rage puts it up to 6. Now, the one thing is the first strike damage you deal to Screaming Nemesis, and then it can redirect the damage to the Heartfire Hero.
Yeah.
But
that's still enough, isn't it?
It will have 4 toughness. 3.
And if the Manifold Mouse goes in as well.
Yeah, so 3, 6 with 4 toughness. It's trample for 3 and then 9. Yeah, I think this is exactly 10. I guess the one way that it wouldn't be 10 is if the Screaming Nemesis first strike damage goes at the Manifold Mouse. That would make it 9, but with that Torch the Tower...
Does that change the math?
Yeah, we shall see. This is a tricky scenario. Because one thing you can do is, like, you can get the roll on the Heartfire Hero and then sacrifice that to torch the Screaming Nemesis, but then it only has 3 toughness, and the Heartfire Hero can die, so.
Yeah. That's a bit risky.
There might not be a way to get lethal, but even if you just get 9 damage through.
Oh, yeah. You got to think it's pretty much over from that point onwards.
Yeah. If it blocks, which it has to block the Heartfire Hero, first strike damage puts William down to 7. The Screaming Nemesis will deal 3 to the Manifold Mouse, and then, you know, regular combat damage will be 6 more from Heartfire Hero. And normally Torch the Tower can push through that extra damage, but with Screaming Nemesis, it makes it a little trickier.
And also, if William wants to play and use all his mana next turn, he just dies to a Carplusian Forest.
Yeah, we'll no longer be able to use the Forest at all.
Monstrous Rage makes an appearance once again.
6-4.
Yeah, I think this isn't quite lethal, but it will just put William so far behind, and this Heartfire Hero gets to stick around.
Yeah.
Use this target.
Oh, wait a minute.
So not killing it, but just allowing extra trample damage to go over.
2 damage
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, I
So
think that.
first strike damage.
Yeah. 2 damage here.
Yes,
Double
first
strike.
First time you take 5 first.
No. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the trample, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Take 5.
And it's gonna take 3, and I will give 3 more here.
Yeah, but normal
It
damage.
actually only deals 1. So, yep,
Yeah.
this does it.
Then you take normal damage.
Yeah, because it only deals 3 total
Normal
damage to the
damage?
Screaming Nemesis.
Yeah, because you
Oh,
don't
like
have
you
to.
get 2 here.
You'd never
And
assign
I-
more than what you need
With
to
these
kill it.
2,
Exactly.
Brilliant.
So, yeah,
with
this is lethal.
ability. You know, if the double strike does damage, I take 5, and those 3
Yes.
I give to him.
Yes.
And that's only 3 damage
yes,
on the Heartfire Hero.
Then this dies, you take 5,
Yep.
and this one. This dies.
Sure.
5, 6 damage.
Yep.
And you use 5 trample damage, 11 damage, 12 damage.
All the damage coming through there for Yuchen Liu. That was a sweet play there with the Screaming Nemesis.
Yeah, absolutely. Finds the way to win it right there, and big congratulations to Yuchen. You know, that is got to be very, very, you know,
What a relief.
reassuring to be able to win after losing 3 win-and-ins before this. Now, it isn't a guaranteed
It's
in. Tiebreakers can go a little south on them, but it is looking pretty decent.
It is looking decent indeed. So hopefully, fingers crossed for Yuchen Liu that is the win. When we come back, friends, we're going to have Matt Sperling versus Ken Yukuhiro. Take a look at our wonderful cosplayers in the meantime. Welcome back to the final round of Magic for today. It is Pro Tour Ether Drift here in Chicago. The sun is set, and we are looking forward to seeing who our top 8 is going to be. Coming back tomorrow here, Corey Baumeister, Ailey Loney. We have a very good matchup for you, friends. And it's going to be Matt Sperling versus Ken Yukuhiro, 2 mainstays of Pro Magic, both looking to make their top 8 here this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. These players are playing for, you know, that hope for the top 8, but no matter what, the winner still gets the World Championship.
Absolutely.
So this is a huge match of Magic. We just saw Matt fall this last round to Domain, and yeah, Domain putting 3 players into the top 8, you know?
Domain.
I'm here for our new Domain overlords.
Yes.
I welcome them.
I do indeed. Ken Yukuhiro, one of the coolest players in the game.
Oh, yeah.
Such a nice guy.
Very
Every time we see him playing, he's just got a smile on his face. And Matt Sperling, you know, does it all. Full-time job, super dad, and able to just put up these results every single time we see him in action. So kicking things off here with one drop apiece in the Optimistic Scavenger and our little Siren, plus Siren.
Yep, and already one Jeskai Oculus into the top 8 with Kenta.
Yeah.
And really, so far, no Esper Pixie. I mean, I think that would be the biggest story
I would
going
say.
into this. Because going into this Pro Tour, a lot of people are thinking, okay, Esper Pixie, well and truly the best deck. You know, I thought the same. And to put maybe 0 copies in, that's really telling that, you know, if you want to beat a deck in Standard, you can do it. You just got to innovate.
Oh man, are we going to see a turn to Oculus here, courtesy of a Hopeless Nightmare from Matt Sperling?
Maybe not quite yet. I saw Fear. There was the recommission, though, I believe. So next turn, we are good to go. And yeah, most decks just cannot beat that. When Oculus comes down that early, you just shrug and you're like, okay.
Oh, well.
What am I supposed to do?
Prophetic Memory hits the board here. This is a sweet new iteration of this deck that we've seen. Prophetic Memory with the Steam Core Scholars, making those 2 creatures freak-enormous.
Yeah.
When they, so just like another win con, basically.
And you know what's even sweeter with that?
What's that?
If you get Fear of Missing Out Delirium and you get another combat, you'll get triggers from this twice. Yeah, so there's a lot of really cool combos that you have in this Oculus deck. It's not just your one-dimensional style deck like it kind of used to be when it was Azorius. There's a lot of play to it, even if you don't do the namesake thing of bringing back Oculus.
Oculus is such a sweet card. You know, had a bit of a hard time. And with everyone sideboarding in like paw patch formation, that sort of stuff. But here comes our Oculus back on board, courtesy of Recommission. Gets a counter 2. And we get to Manifest Dread shortly.
All right, and we'll see if there's an answer to this extremely powerful creature. Now, it's just a tough card to kill. You know, there's very minimal go for the throats, any kind of removal like that, and any momentum breakers, you know, the Oculus naturally insulates from because it puts that second body into play. So, yeah, you can bounce it with this town ain't big enough, and that's probably the best thing to do, but not always an option.
Sperling's got some work to do here against an ever-growing battlefield. Oculus is certainly good at replacing itself if it isn't dealt with immediately.
Yep.
And that's always the worst feeling, when they flip up another flyer.
Yeah.
And now there's multiple flyers in the deck, too, so it's just like, oh boy. Both these creatures need to die, and quickly.
Yeah, when it's another Oculus underneath there, you also shrug and be like, yeah, sure, you got me.
Another Pixie. Bringing back nowhere to run. So at least an answer for the Manifest creature.
Now you can at least attack into this Oculus as the combination of the -3/-3 plus the enchantment coming into play, putting a counter on something, you're able to deal with it, and this is a really smart block because if you do play Nowhere to Run and put the counter on the Scavenger, great, you know, you get to eat the Manifest, but the Manifest came along for free, and that Nowhere to Run, sure, it'll give Oculus -3/-3, but that's really pointless,
No, it's just a question of, do you want to save your Optimistic Scavenger at this point?
Yeah, and you know, this had to be one of the options Matt was considering, and if this was the case, maybe you don't want to attack with the Scavenger there, but sure, he had a plan. Maybe if we have Momentum Breaker here, this would be huge.
Do we?
Let's see. I mean, that would be a big reason to do that play.
Nope. Hopeless Nightmare.
Okay.
Ditches a
You
land.
go to 6.
Yep.
Down to 6 already.
That is a low life
Okay.
total, so Ken needs to get some gas going here. Storm Chaser's Talent is the final play for Matt Sperling's turn.
Yeah, and Matt couldn't really have done that pre-combat, as then Oculus gets to block pretty freely, so. But it was an option to just attack with Pixie and see what Ken does.
Ooh, we got the Lyrium.
Okay. So that is 1 trigger off the Identic Memory.
You have 4 types? Enchantment land,
Enchant,
creature,
soul
yeah.
sorry creature.
Yeah.
Cool. So there is Delirium. It doesn't have haste.
Nope, and I see another Helping Hand in hand, so not ideal. You know, you don't want to bring back, it just looks like a Storm Chaser's Talent.
Good grief. Oh, we got a combat, and then
Or a
this.
Spyglass Siren, excuse me.
This Oculus is gonna get huge.
Yeah, now you get to the
Yeah.
point where
Two
does
hands,
Ken
two
want
Two
to
cards.
put all his eggs in one basket and just make this gigantic?
Oh.
Nice.
Yeah.
That is a massive blocker. We're gonna get the manifest on the upkeep here from Matt Sperling.
Okay. 4 blockers, but only 1 flying blocker. So if Matt can get that Oculus out of the way, attack for 5, and have some other way to do some draining, which, you know, the deck has about 1,000 ways to bounce that Hopeless Nightmare.
Yeah.
Then Matt's still going to be able to steal this game where Ken is well and truly stabilizing, and with these fear of missing outs, gaining a bunch of extra combat steps. Next turn could look very nasty for Matt. Like easily could lose the game.
Is there this town? That's what I want to know. Ooh.
No.
No. Okay, so Fear of Isolation, Optimistic Scavenger, and the Nowhere to Run.
Yeah, that is not amazing. So I don't really see a way to get lethal right now. So close, though.
Yeah, this is a sweet match again.
But now Matt has to worry, okay, how can I best interact with the multiple combats that Ken's going to have next turn?
Yeah. I mean, okay. Ken is tapped out. The Hopeless, the Nowhere to Run is available to take care of one of them.
Yep. And then you have the Scavenger.
I'm at 17.
Looks like Matt might be lining up
Ship.
Fear of Isolation, pick up a land. Okay.
Okay.
16. You go to
Okay.
4.
Yep.
Gets rid of the last card.
And waits and says go. Okay.
And
No way to kill Ken there, so just passes the turn back.
big draw step.
You see how he gives it a little rub on the table,
Yeah.
like, come on, be good. That's at a Darker Wastes.
So
Another land that hurts.
getting some extra combats is great, but I don't think the Oculus can get it there on its own, as you know, there's so many flying blockers here.
Yeah. Just gonna start things off here
Over
with
16.
an Explore.
And with that fear of missing out, being able to draw an extra card, getting essentially,
Sort
you
of
know, at
sinking.
least 2 triggers off the Prophetic Memory, that would have helped a lot. Now time to do some math.
He's handshaking.
I mean, yeah, what a big moment. You know, both of these players have been to the World Championship. You know, both of them have been in the top 8 of these Pro Tours. But, you know, the one thing you want to do after you make it there, you want to do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
so-
want to keep winning.
Of course, this is a huge moment for them.
Ken Yukuhiro has a massive flying blocker. A potential here for
2 cards.
2 extra combat. What would you do here, Corey?
You know, I think the obvious thing is to attack with the fear of missing outs and the Oculus, and at least untap the Oculus, then kind of decide if you want to leave it back on defense. I think that's where I would start, but wow, and
Doesn't
into
even, doesn't seem like it does anything, though.
an Into the Floodmaw, I think, was it in what's Ken's hand as well. So
Oh.
if anything, it deals a good chunk of damage, and then Ken can leave this back.
Okay.
So more than likely, Matt is not going to chump block here. Is just going to take the, what, 8 damage here.
And that's it.
4 blocks going
Oh.
to bounce. Interesting to block something first. I guess you're bouncing the 3/3 pixie, as you don't want that kind of free block. I think that would be the only thing you would consider, because this block's going to happen, but
Take 6.
throwing away a fear of
Take
missing
8.
out.
8. Take 8.
Yeah.
I go to 8.
So now, you know, you can attack with the Oculus as it's going to kind of block anyways, essentially. Now you get to untap it again and get another combat.
That was sweet.
So now Matt has to essentially double chump here.
Those two will bounce off each other. The pixie will die.
Yep. And then the Oculus will get another combat.
Grief. That's one way to clear off a board, huh?
Yeah, and this is really smart of Matt, because if Matt put that 3/3 pixie in front of the fear of missing out, then that pixie will die, this other pixie will die, and then the next combat, you can go into the flood mob, bounce the last flyer, and attack for exactly 8 and win.
Jeez.
So good job on Matt. Would have lost the game if he put that 3/3 pixie in front of the fear of missing out.
Unbelievable.
And now you go to the point, do you want to attack or do you not want to with the Oculus? It's kind of the same of leaving it back. You force one creature to get blocked anyways, so I would think you just attack here.
Oh yeah, there's still that guy. Forgot about him.
Yep.
Here comes a Boron Oculus. 8 damage being represented here by this flying eyeball.
Yep. And now, with this into the Flood Maw, you can bounce the Pixie. The Pixie can bounce the Hopeless Nightmare and put Ken down to 2. So this is not lethal from Matt's side yet.
Not
That
yet,
into the
but
Flood Maw was huge.
This is intense.
Oh, was that a
Is that-
Hopeless
it is a
Nightmare?
Hopeless Nightmare in hand.
Okay.
Is that just GG?
No, I
we
don't
have another
think
black source.
so. Yeah, if you had 2 black sources, it's GG. Now, if Ken decides to take this Pixie, thinking that if I bounce it, you get to replay Hopeless Nightmare anyways, then Matt would pick up this game. So Ken has to bounce this here. Oh, does we have something?
Flippity flop. Hey, Spyglass Siren.
Huge.
Nowhere to run. Into the Flood Maw. Wow, that was such a sick game.
That was a game between 2 masters of the game. That was incredible.
Ken Yukuhiro picking up the win there, having the Into the Flood Maw and the Spyglass Siren to prevent himself from dying there effectively.
And you have to reveal your cards at the
Oh
end.
yeah, what was at the end there?
An Oculus underneath there. So we had some stuff going on from Ken's side.
Yeah, secrets.
All right, Ken Yukuhiro is 1 game away from hoping the
12
tiebreakers
wins, yeah.
hold up.
Map token.
And Matt's got some work to do.
Yeah, even if Ken doesn't crack the top 8 with 12 wins, as there are quite a few people that'll end at 12 and 4,
Yeah.
does make it into the World Championship, which is awesome. We love to see Ken Yukuhiro playing at Magic's biggest stage.
Absolutely. And out of these 2 players, the better chance for one of them to make it in is Matt.
Yes.
Matt has a good tiebreaker percentage lead, but Ken still has a solid chance, of course, if he beats Matt out of it.
Man, great start here for Matt Sperling.
Yeah.
Pixie, Scavenger, Otter, and the talent bounced back to hand on the other side of things. Spyglass Siren into Fear of Missing Out, it looks like here for Ken Yukuhiro.
Okay. The great start, not the ideal thing to discard. No Oculus in sight for now. And, you know, the thing about this matchup is the ceiling on the Jeskai Oculus deck is much higher. You know,
Yeah.
the best possible draw you can have. Oculus outpaces basically every creature.
Yeah.
But the floor is much lower from Ken. These creatures are a lot smaller than what the Esper Pixie creatures can be. There's a Rest in Peace from Matt,
Okay.
so can shut down that avenue of attack. And that would be the Windmill Slam play if Ken did discard an Oculus.
Just a land in the bin here for Ken Yukuhiro so far. Also curious how many Oculus stay in the deck for Ken, you know, with that Steam Core Scholar backup plan.
Yeah, exactly. And it all kind of comes down to, you know, how many rest in pieces there are. There are 2 from Matt.
17.
But yeah, not only does the rest in peace shut down the ability to bring them back from the graveyard, but
You're
you're just never casting Oculus either. So
Yeah.
it fully shuts down that card.
Yeah, it's effectively discard fodder for fear of missing out and Steam Core Scholars and the
Yeah.
like.
So this is an attack for 9 on what, turn 3, turn 4?
2.
Yeah. Because the Otter getting the prowess triggers off of Rest in Peace and the
3/3. Yeah.
talent.
Yeah, this deck can just produce so much power. And I mean, this is kind of the nut draw. This is
Yeah.
like the best it is, best you can get.
7, 4, 6.
Little Otter down. Takes 6, goes to 12, does Ken Yukuhiro. And the turn passes back, so let's see what Ken can cobble together here against Matt Sperling, who is on a warpath.
Now, the rest in pieces from the Esper Pixie side are not just free, right? Like, they're not just amazing against your opponent and nothing bad happens to you. You know, we have the card right next to it, the Storm Chaser's Talent, which you don't have that value loop anymore. It is just a 1-mana
Make an
Otter
yeah.
that you can sometimes pick it up to be able to put that Otter back into play. So, you know, you do affect your own cards a
Yeah,
bit.
unless there's some convoluted loop. I don't know entirely how it works with this talent big enough bouncing your own Rest in Peace. Would it get exiled once it's
Yeah,
resolved? I have no idea.
I'm not 100% sure either, but yeah, you won't see that too often, as that is very risky to unlock the ability from Ken, because Ken could then have a Spell Pierce for it, something like that. You can always level it up to that
Yeah.
level 3, but that's not really how these games play out.
It's usually not. You know, that's kind of like the, if you're sacrificing your Hopeless Nightmare, things are going badly. If you're getting to level 3 on that talent, things are going not so great. Maybe not badly, but
Yeah.
nowhere to run, taking care of the critters here, and that's a big
5,
attack from Matt
5.
Sperling.
I mean, this is looking to be an absolute beating in favor of Matt here
Yeah.
to be able to send this to one final
three,
game.
Game 3.
And there was an
Anything?
Oculus off the top.
It's a Prophetic Memory. No,
Yeah.
it's a Spyglass Siren.
Either way, it's a lot of air. It's a
Yeah.
lot of cards that find you other cards. It's
Yeah.
not a way to really come back. But speaking of, I mean, that is
hey.
definitely a real
The
thing.
Silex?
Yeah.
Yeah, Filigree Silex. What does that one do?
It does only sacrifice itself and destroy stuff equal to the numbers. So, yeah.
Oh, okay. So a sideboard card that's way too slow for what Matt Sperling assembled there. So game 3.
But it can be really nice against Otters. You can tick it up to 1 and get a bunch of creatures. So kind of the best Ratchet Bomb impression for anyone who used to play with that card. Okay, huge game 3. I would say the biggest game
let's
3 of
go.
these players' lives, but that's probably not true with 2 established players like these two.
Yeah, certainly a position where I think everyone else is more stressed out
one.
for them.
Yeah.
Especially teammates waiting to see if their friends will make it into tomorrow's top 8. Optimistic Scavenger to kick things off on this side. And Inti, Seneschal of the Sun. This card is so cool.
Yeah, very, very good. If there is the nowhere to run here to be able to deal with
it was
it.
so cool, and then
Yeah.
it died. And now the Optimistic Scavenger is getting to work.
Yeah, Inti's always just been one of those cards that's been really solid.
Come back, come back. Yeah.
That's back. Now, what is that follow-up back there? Okay.
Nice, all right.
Excellent.
Yeah, get some counters on that. Try and get it out of nowhere to run range. Not yet, though.
Looks like we have a Scholar, 2 lands, and a Helping Hand there for Ken. So a nice follow-up turn next turn if Matt doesn't do anything to interrupt this Inti. Land, Pixie, nowhere to run again would be huge for Matt.
That would be ideal.
Yep.
Put Ken firmly on the back foot here. So Matt's not doing anything too quickly, which makes me concerned that there's no third land. We see Fear of Isolation. Couple Pixies.
There is a Pixie, but no third land, it looks like. Otherwise, it would have been just a windmill slam of Pixie and nowhere to run here, but oh no. I was the fear of isolation, so you're able to return that.
Tap 2 here from Matt. Are we gonna fear of isolation? Yeah, looks like it, so.
Probably just picking up a land.
Putting a counter on the biggest blocker.
Okay.
So it's now a 3-4. That's a big birdie.
Nice 3-4, and just trying to say, okay, I want to block this Inti.
Inti can run away with games.
All right, now, I mean, with Matt not being able to kill this Inti, things can get out of hand. Being able to play...
Otter hand.
Yeah,
Sorry.
there you go. Being able to play the Scholar to be able to draw a couple cards here,
That would
you
be
can,
sick.
on surface value, put Inti up to a 5-power creature. And
This prophetic hammer on the board, yeah.
yeah, this is going to be a great turn for Ken. There was a fear of missing out as well. So yeah, Ken has a bunch of value here. And that stumble from Matt could very well be a Pro Tour top 8 costing fortunate draw.
Oh boy, we're gonna draw so many cards here, and then on the attack trigger as well with
Oh.
Inti.
Oh, Ailey, so I think you can discard a fear of missing out, play an untapped white source, bring it back with the helping hand,
Yeah.
and draw an additional card. So you draw 3 cards. You can put 3 counters onto Inti then. Or you try to play one of these creatures as well, of course, but that is an option here for Ken.
How many? Sorry.
3 cards.
How many cards have I drawn this turn?
Okay, there is the helping hand.
Yes, that's so cool. Oh man, the value here. This deck is just popping off here for Ken Yukuhiro.
And trigger.
We hardly saw Jeskai Oculus all weekend, and now it looks like we might have 2 in the top 8 here this weekend.
Absolutely. I mean, it was our 4th most played deck, but yeah, it's been slowly and quietly creeping up. Let's see where we want to put these counters.
Okay, so not going for the attack, just building up his army here. As Matt Sperling gets the turn back. Did we find land 3?
2 cards.
2 cards.
And now you have a 5-power Vigilance flyer here. So, I mean, that playing defense and offense here is going to be excellent for Ken.
It's such a cool little piece of tech that this deck has incorporated.
Yeah, this deck is really awesome.
Oh, man. Doesn't look like we found land 3 there, so a little bit of a unfortunate end to the tournament for Matt Sperling.
Yeah, we'll see. Plenty of game left to be played here. Matt still has a pretty solid board, but definitely needs a decent turn here, and land 3 would for sure be helpful.
Yeah. If this is how it ends, it's going to be heartbreaking. So come on, Matt. Picking up the talent, gets another otter, and just trying to build up his board as well to defend against said massive Steam Core Scholar.
Yep, gets to get in a hit for 5 here. And yeah, Matt at his last Pro Tour he played in Amsterdam took 9th, you know.
Pyroclasm.
Oh, that would be huge. Oh my, it sure is. Wow, Pyroclasm is a 4-for-1.
Jeez.
Oh my.
I mean, that's got to be it.
That's got to be too much to come back from. Now there's land sorcery in the yard. If you can also get Delirium, then we are well and truly done. But even as it stands, this is going to be just too much. There's the instant.
That's going to do it. That is going to do it. So Ken Yukuhiro picks up the victory there. And now, cross fingers, hold thumbs, and hope that that is enough to make it into the top 8. Congratulations, Ken. Commiserations to Matt Sperling, who put up an excellent fight here this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can see how much it means to Ken there. Gets up, you know, and just absolutely stoked.
Yeah.
Like, nothing better than seeing players, you know, get into the top 8 of a Pro Tour. Really exciting stuff.
Congratulations once again. We still don't know who our top 8 is going to be, and we still have one more match to show you, my friends. So let's jump straight into Scott McNamara versus Abe Schnake. We're going to go into game 2 here. Demir Bounce. This is the deck that you fancied quite a lot over the last couple of pro events.
Yep.
Up against Selesnya Cage.
And kind of the creator, him and his team, of the Demir Bounce deck. And you know, just having a great pro tour here so far. But the Selesnya Cage deck was really built to beat this deck.
Oh, yeah?
It is really the counter to this deck. Well and truly, you know, it is supposed to beat Demir at a really high percentage, you know, something like 60-40, maybe even 65-35.
Yep.
And there's not many of those matchups, you know, so this is a really tough one.
Scott on the back foot, on a mulligan as well. Kicks things off here with a Storm Chaser's Talent. Llanowar Elves hits the board for Abe Schnake, who is up a game. So this is game 2. And just a reminder, everyone, that if you get 12 wins here but don't make the top 8, those players will still be joining us at the World Championship. So not a terrible consolation prize.
Exactly. These players, it will be tricky for them to make the top 8. Winner of this, probably 9th, 10th, 11th. Who knows? Could be 8th as well. But being able to automatically make it to the World Championship, I mean, this is a huge match.
That's awesome. So the first Llanowar Elves taken care of. A second one and a Paw Patch Recruit takes its place. Go for the throat. The culprit there.
And this is why this matchup is so hard. You know, the removal spells from the Demir side are so taxed by everything that this Selesnya Cage deck is doing, whether it's Paw Patch Recruits, whether it's, you know, your small creatures getting boosted up by Collector's Cage, whether it's you're putting a bunch of tokens down, so spot removal does like nothing to these. No. It is so taxing on the removal, and that's the Demir Bounce's best aspect of attack. You know, that's how it wins. It repeatable removal spells over and over.
And Abe Schnake just putting on a clinic here as to why the Selesnya Cage deck is pretty darn good.
Yep.
Getting so much pressure on the board. Overlord of the Mistmoors now threatening as Scott McNamara starts taking damage. Obstinate Baloth now hitting the board here too for Abe, padding the life total and just getting a big ol' 4/4 body on the board.
Yep, and that takes away another avenue of attack. The Hopeless Nightmares are taxed from this.
Oh, hi, Shieldred.
Scott goes for that kind of plan B of like, well, if I don't have a good way of beating you with removal and Hopeless Nightmare, let's put some big old Shieldreds into play.
Yeah, remember when Shieldred was like in every single deck as a 4-of?
Yes.
Hey, Market Gnome! I remember you now. And Shieldred goes bye-bye under the Dusk Rose Reliquary.
What a combo. Market Gnome to come into play, get sacrificed immediately.
Yeah. Hi guys, how's it going? Oh, I'm dead. Man, and the beatdown begins. Obstinate Baloth getting in there. Scott McNamara now down to 13. Grimbobble takes care of one little creature. Storm Chaser's Talent. Leaves a little buddy behind. So that's going to be doing some chump blocking. And that, whoa, okay, nice. All right, nice little combo taking care of the Obstinate Baloth.
Yeah, and just another tricky threat, though. You're able to search up a couple more cards. Plus, this Overlord is coming off and pending here in 2 turns. It's just so hard to keep up with this Selesnya deck with the Demir Bounce deck. I mean, Scott does have the ability to go level up the talent, get back this town ain't big enough, and interact in a little way, but
so slow. Even
this Paw Patch Recruit that can be Offspring next turn. What do you do? It's a really frustrating match to play from the Demir Bounce side, I must say.
Absolutely. All right. So, levels it up, gets back this town ain't big enough. I believe was the choice there.
Yep.
So Paw Patch and the Dusk Rose Reliquary were fetched off the Bright Glass Gear Hulk.
Yep, and even just the play of Offspring the Paw Patch Recruit and doing nothing else looks pretty good.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's the worst play Abe has available, and I see a Pixie as well, so you get to throw that in.
Bounce, bounce, bounce.
Not even Offspringing it.
Okay. Got some other action going there, another Llanowar Elves.
Now, something that could get Scott back into this is maybe like a Gix command. Sack the Overlord, get rid of the small creatures, only have the Gear Hulk to deal with. That's kind of the only thing that looks really good right now. And even if that happens, the Pixie to pick up Gear Hulk, okay,
there it is.
We're playing Magic.
Gix's command. You summoned it into being, Corey.
Yeah, and we'll see. Is there something that Abe can do? Okay. Oh, this is excellent. So the mode we basically never see is being able to just blink out the Overlord, not gifting a fish so it's not being exiled. And now you sacrifice the Gear Hulk instead. And at end step, surprise, we got some more Overlords.
back?
I think it's lethal.
And some more
I think it might
flyers.
be very lethal there. That was
No, I
so
respect that for
cool.
sure. Go to attacks.
And I know you want to do it too, right?
Yeah, turn him sideways. There we go. Abe Schnake, 2-0 in the final game and match here of his tournament for today.
Yeah.
We don't know if Abe is going to make the top 8. We're going to find out
Yeah.
as soon as they crunch all the numbers back there. All the smart people are doing stuff, Corey.
Yeah.
That was sweet.
And absolutely condolences there to Scott. Scott made it all the way from the Spotlight Series in Atlanta, taking second there with the same deck and translated that into easily a top 32, maybe a top 16. So big congratulations to him. He's a great guy and a really good deck builder with him and his team for that Dimir bounce deck that really just broke the metagame for a while.
It was awesome. It was awesome. We've seen some excellent magic, and I believe we are about to go and find out who our top 8 is. So, Maria, put us out of our misery here. Not misery. You know what I mean. Who is in it?
I get it. All right. Thank you so much, Ailey and Corey. Yes, we are waiting on our top 8 announcement. So while we get ready for that, Monty and I are going to bide our time by talking about the tournament as a whole. It's been an exciting one, Monty, for you.